Right, I've outlined all my holes and I have included my guides for my satin stitching. My satin stitching is actually going to be deeper inside my guide than my line shows. Before we actually move on to the next step, I want to explain to you why we outline all our holes. We have to cut the fabric away from here and in here and in here, all these inside areas, but we don't cut to the line. Let me blow this up. I'll drop off this magnifying glass. We don't cut up to that line of stitching. We cut inside the line and we leave ourselves a small margin of fabric all around that area. And this is still in the hoop. You do not unhoop the fabric. Now, I use a nylon chopping board. One side has got a small drain that runs around the chopping board. I'm sure you know the type I mean. It's white plasticky. Well, they come in different colours for different things. You've got your vegetable blocks and you've got your meat blocks and that kind of thing. I turn it upside down because the back of it is flat. It's got no ridging in it. And I use a scalpel. Although with my hands in the condition they're in now, I will probably just make a slit in the middle so I can get my lace scissors in and use my little lace scissors for trimming around here. They're the small duck-billed ones, and they are small. But I don't want to trim up against my stitches. And that's important. I want to trim in here. And I trim away all these areas, which leaves these a little bit floppy. A bit compromised if you try to continue without something in there to support these edges. When you've got all these removed, you then get yourself a bit of water-soluble stabilizer, the size of your hoop, plus a margin. Doesn't have to be a big margin. And I use double-sided sticky tape. And around the underside of my hoop, on the outer hoop, I attach my double-sided sticky tape. I remove that plastic papery stuff which stops it exposing itself to the air before you're ready to use it. I peel that off bit by bit as I attach it to my hoop. Then when I've got a piece of that double-sided sticky tape stuck on every long edge and every short edge, I then unpeel a little from the top end of my hoop and I press the corner of my water-soluble film, and film is actually better for this unless you live in a very humid area, and then you can go with Vilene, but it does hide what you need to do on the next step. And I slowly unpeel and stick my water-soluble along one edge. Then I just move my hoop around a bit and I start peeling off the protective paper on one part of the long side this side, one part of the long side this side. I don't try going too far each time, and I start pressing my water-soluble down on one side, making certain I'm not creating any wrinkles and that it's nice and taut along the top, and that this is pulling taut, and then I'll come over here and do this side and make certain that this is pulling taut, and I mustn't allow it to go off the straight and narrow. I can't suddenly have it take off and end up coming over here. It's got to stay the same width all the way down. And when I've got the two sides in, I then peel the bottom and I stick my water-soluble along the bottom edge of my hoop, and the whole lot must be nice and taut. And then that's nearly ready to go back onto my machine, and I flip my whole hoop over again so as that this is on the top and I can see what is what. And I print a template of this. And you're probably saying, well, how can we print a template? It's an EOF. Well, that's the next stage of this. So let me just pick up my magnifying glass, drop this down. Okay, drop the magnifying glass, come over here, highlight the top one, hold down Shift, highlight the bottom one, right click into it and tell it Group 1. Now I go to Design, Save, and I saved my design all the way through as Cherry Cutwork, and it's saving it as an EOF. Okay, then I go back into Design, save, or is it gone? Compile and put into Editor. I tell this Cancel. Now I go and get my hoop. And I want standard 2 because I use a Janome machine. You've got to find your Janome machines. And I want my RE hoop, which on my machine is the B hoop. Okay, and I want it in horizontal, and I tell that OK. There is my design. It's also my template. So now I tell this File, Save As, and I need the Jeff for my machine. You need whichever one you have for your machine. And I tell that OK. And I save this as mcherry CW. Save. Now I go into Manager. And there is my design in my hoop, long ways, because remember, their larger hoops are portrait orientation. I come over to here in the right hand panel, and I've gone a stage too far. Oh, Maggie, you are a dodo. I don't go in there at all. I go to File, Print Template. Now you can do it as 3D, you can do it however way you want. I'm going to tell it Print Preview. I don't want any comments. It's so long since I used this one now for printing a template. Okay, number of copies, print ready. I want the properties. Black and white will do me fine, thank you. Oh, I'm in the wrong page. I'm in the wrong machine. Portrait, I want actual size. It's very important you get it actual size. I'm going to tell that. Where's advanced? I don't want scaling. Mustn't scale, it's got to print actual size. Okay. Now it'll all depend on what your printer says. Okay. Okay. 3D actual size. Thank you. Okay. No comments. Okay. Okay. Oh, and I'll put a... No, I don't use that. I use that. Okay. Now I have to wait for my Primo. Create PDF. Save. Scale 1:1. That's because I'm not using my other machine. My other machine, it goes through my printer and it would fill an A4 sheet. But you print out your template and you'll notice you've got crosshairs in it. When you've printed that out, you stick that on your countertop, you put your hoop over the top, you get a little roll of sellotape, sounds dreadful, dead useful, and you match up your actual fabric to the template, and you just stick a little bit of sellotape to hold that in the correct position. So you might have to do it there, you might have to put a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit here, a bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and so on, just to hold these in position so they don't shift when we go on to the next stage. And I'll explain the next stage to you in the next video, and I will try and take some photographs of me doing all this